of what a book is and how powerful it is. I mean, if you think about a book that made a difference in your life, we've all experienced that, where there was a book that we may have known that information, but the way that that author said it, the way that they used metaphors, the stories that they gave, all of a sudden things clicked and might have been a different trajectory in our lives. So it's so powerful. And I am definitely a book lover. You can take me anywhere as long as there is a cute little bookstore and or a library. That's my office. So I love this. So to become a thought leader, you write a book for credibility. The name of my company is Expert Celebrity Branding. It doesn't mean that I work with celebrities, although I have. The intention was that using your expertise to become an influencer. Let's say, for example, you're writing a memoir of surviving cancer. And somewhere in that book, you solve a specific issue. I'm going to have you all mute yourselves. You had a specific issue, problem, and you were able to heal yourself, or you were able to maneuver it. Someone picks up that memoir and changes their lives. Okay? Whether, again, it's a nonfiction business book, finance book, memoir, healing book, exercise book, branding book, writing book, it doesn't matter. They all have impact, and you can truly become an expert influencer, okay? Making a difference in people's lives. That's how I define that. It's not about how many likes and how many followers, although there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that there's another piece to this also. And a big piece is also, if you want to have clients, it helps you attract clients. There's a client that I had, and I helped her write her book. She didn't want to have clients. She just wanted to speak. And before she wrote her book, she was getting something like $250, $500 maximum to give a speech. After she wrote her book, there's a level of confidence that comes with you when you publish that book. I don't know how to explain it. When I first wrote my book over 25 years ago, I did not know any more the next day after it was published than the day before it was published. And yet I was getting media reaching out to me. I was getting speaking gigs. I didn't know anything more than the day before it was published. However, there are things you need to do for that to happen. All right. So you don't have to attract clients if you don't want, but it's excellent to attract clients. Let me share with you something else. When you know the puzzle pieces, when you truly know the puzzle pieces of writing a book, you can literally, and you want to attract clients, you can literally attract $5,000, $10,000 with client revenue before the book is ever published. I've done it. My clients have done it. There's a way to do that. Okay. Many people think, oh, I'll start marketing my book after I publish it. Not so much. You have to market your book about 30 days after you start writing your book. Okay. When do you market? 30 days into your book. Why? Because if you have it created properly, you already have what's called your working titles. Those are the titles. They may not end up being the titles, but they're working titles that you can relate to, that you know what to put in each of those titles, which then turns to chapters. Okay? Once you have that, you'll have that within a week, actually. And then after that, you'll start writing, you'll start getting a big picture of what the book's about. You may not know exactly yet because it unfolds so beautifully in the process of writing. And it uncovers your signature speech. It uncovers your signature program, if you know what to look for as you're writing your book, if that's something you want to do. It unlocks an online program, if that's something that you want to do. So it's essential that you start to identify what those chapters are and then start the marketing. You do not wait to market when the book is published or when it goes to the editor or when it's at the publishing. Okay? Marketing. You start marketing your book. Now, what about the people that have already written a book? How do you market that 30 days into writing it? Because you already have the book. Well, there are many things you can do. I'll give you one. You don't have to rewrite your book, although I've had people rewrite their books. You can literally write a workbook that goes with it. You might be able to write an ebook that goes with it. And in that ebook, in that workbook, that's where you start to put these pieces that will attract your clients. Okay? Well, I'm giving a workshop, Bestseller Blueprint Workshop, April 21st, and you can check that out and see what that's like. But I'm going to be talking a lot more about that. Like we just said, if you already have an existing book, what you can do with it. And let me share with you, for those of you who are in the middle of writing your book or the beginning of writing your book, or you don't even know, you want to write a book, you don't know what it's going to be on yet. Because most people who want to write a book, they basically just kind of blip on a page. And that's one of the reasons that it doesn't have focus, it doesn't have strategy, it doesn't have a structure, and then they just have this book and it doesn't do anything for them. And so for those of you just starting writing your book, you're thinking, I don't need to know how to market the book yet. Yeah, you do. You do. And so it's a beautiful combination for those that are writing their book or starting to write their book, and also hearing some marketing strategies that someone who has an existing book can start using to lift up that former book. All right. You also can attract sponsors. I don't know which book it was. I think it was the time management book when it was, I think it was rewritten in 2015. And I ended up having a salad company contact me. And they had the toppings of salads. And they knew the book was on time management. And they sent me some toppings and they wanted me to try it. And actually, they were good. And so then I wrote something about it in terms of how it saves time. And they became a lovely sponsor, a salad company. So you never know what happens. That came to me, but there are ways that you can go out and start getting sponsors. There's so many companies that you can get sponsors for, especially now after that pandemic, because so many companies are so confused on what consumers want today. They don't really know. So many businesses, small, medium, large, are struggling with what to offer, what add-ons to offer, what do people really want. You become a bright spot, a bright light when you can bring an idea of how they could sponsor you with your book that hasn't even been written yet, or perhaps it has been written. And you put together a sponsor proposal and you go out there and you get sponsors that can pay for the publishing of your book. It can pay for an event. It can pay for your speaking, a 10-city speaking tour if you wanted. My 10-city speaking tour went because my 7th book, Generation Why Not, was literally came out approximately the same day that Governor Newsom closed down California. It's a whole story in of itself. Okay, and then to attract the media. Again, the media was reaching out to me. I didn't know anything more. I didn't know All right. But I knew what to do. I knew what to do because I love marketing. I love marketing, any type of marketing. Just give me the product, give me the service, and let me have fun. The Wall Street Journal called me a marketing maven. I love that. In so many ways, I feel that I am. It just comes naturally to me, just comes naturally to me. Also, you're going to start attracting podcast hosts that want you to guest. I have to share with you, I've been on a few podcasts. This was even before the pandemic, and I ended up getting clients from that. Again, there are certain strategies that you want to be able to use in your book and then be able to message and verbalize it when you're on these podcasts, when you're in the media and all of that. And I was able to work with some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people to write their books. Okay. So why aren't people who've written books doing all this? Why aren't they really attracting their ideal client? Why aren't they attracting media? Why aren't they attracting sponsorships? The number one reason is it's really not your fault. No one's taught you. You don't know how. You're so busy writing your book or marketing your book as best you can. You don't know these vital, impactful pieces. And so that is why you want to be able to work with a book coach or a developmental editor or whatever that has what I call a 360 view, who knows how to brand it, who knows how to market, who knows how to get the PR, who knows how to attract the clients and the sponsors and all of that, because that is what a book affords you to do, whether it's a nonfiction book in any industry or a memoir. Very powerful, very powerful. And I will share with you, most people don't know these numbers, but most authors sell 100 books if they're lucky. If they're lucky. Okay? My authors many times will pre-sell 200 books. I was pre-selling Generation Why Not 2 years before it was written, and it was a completely different cover. I didn't know what the cover was going to be. My books are traditionally published. I didn't know what the publisher was going to do. And so I just put a cover together. People don't remember the cover. They remember the name. And you can always change that as well. And so I had hundreds of books sold before I sold my book proposal to a publisher. It can be done. It can be done. You can, yeah, there's so many ideas that I want to share with you. You've got to be on the 90-minute workshop, Bestseller Blueprint Workshop, April 21st. I'm telling you. So when you're thinking about writing your book, here's one question. There are many questions, but one question to guide you, or to at least have you start thinking about it. What is your unique solution that solves a problem? Memoir people, you're sharing your life, and what was something unique about something that happened and something you did? Nonfiction people, what is a unique solution that you have, that you've created, that you've experienced, that you've put together, that will solve a problem of your clients? Okay. Now, you might say, but Ruth, I want to write a poetry book. I think that's awesome. I have to share something with you. So whether you're in your own business, or you are working in corporate America, or in a mid-sized, smaller entrepreneur, and you're an employee, writing a book still gives you the visibility and the credibility within your organization. I was just talking to this lovely podcast host, and I'm excited I'm going to be on her show. And she was in corporate America for 30 years. And we were talking about this, and she had a friend that wanted to write poetry. And it was corporate America, and it had nothing to do with what the business was about. And so she spoke to this podcast host, my new best friend, and wanted her to mentor her. And she was in a quandary. What am I supposed to do? I've just been wanting to write this book of romantic poetry. Oh, just the thought of that is so awesome. I mean, you know how many, see, this is where I go. Marketing. Do you know how many places you can use that? Oh my God. Communication with spouses, with friends, with all kinds of things, with yourself. Okay. So let me get back here. So that's exactly what happened to her. She was able to get a high level of visibility and credibility amongst her community inside the company. They thought it was so cool that she went ahead and published her book on poetry. Okay. Now, if I was there, I would make sure that she was having a lucrative experience with that. Okay. I mean, you could sell it on Etsy. You could sell a few poems here and there on Etsy for your sweetheart. Really do it up big for Valentine's. I mean, there's just so many places, so many things you can do. All right. Also, on the back of your book, if there is something that you are selling, a program, a live or one-on-one, a group online, or there is a mission that you have. Maybe you have a nonprofit. My nonprofit social mission is Universal Mom, helping children and teens uncover their talents and brilliance through the art of writing. And it's so healing for these children and teens. And it's awesome. That's my social mission, and that's my nonprofit. So I'm writing a parenting book right now. So you better believe that at the back of the book, there will be something used as a fundraiser for this Universal Mom program that I want to create around the world. And it'll be in that book. It'll be in the back of it. There will be a bonus that they will get. Okay. What about thinking about, as you're writing the book, getting some quotes from influencers? I was working with a client, and she had been working in corporate America. She wanted to write a book. She was very much in the high achieving direction, which I can definitely relate to. And within 4 months, she had written a book and published it. Within 6 months, I helped her with a program and how much to charge. She had 10 professional women at $25,000 each, $250,000 within 6 months of writing her book. Now, does everybody do that? No. She was on the high octane path. We're talking high octane path. And, but the point is, she was in charge of a lot of money in corporate America. But then when she transitioned into her own career, she didn't have those marketing strategies. She didn't have those marketing dollars. So we did that with her book. Okay. Do you see how powerful this can be? And she wanted an influencer, and she loved Barbara Corcoran, whom you may or may not know on Shark Tank. And so she wanted to have Barbara give a quote. And but she didn't think she could. And of course, I said, Generation Why Not is my book. Since I've been a little girl, I've always said, why not? So that's what I said. I said, why not? I mean, why not? Why not at least try? Well, she ended up getting a quote from Barbara Corcoran, and she has it on the front of her book. Telling you people, the possibilities are humongous. We just have to go out and take action. This morning I was talking to a mentor, and she was saying, you have to go out and connect with 50, let's say you want to do more speaking, okay, which is so important for authors, for credibility, for all of that, if you want. And she was saying that it takes 50 reach outs to get 2 to 3 speeches. And she's been doing this a long time. So she was saying it's a numbers game. And it's the same thing here with the book. It's a numbers game. You want to have how many clients because of your book. You want to be on how many media opportunities. You want to have how many sponsors. It's a numbers game. And you just have to stay with it. Okay? I would love to invite all of you to a 90-minute workshop I'm giving April 21st at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:30 for Eastern, and it's called the Bestseller Blueprint Workshop. I've been saying it so many times, it's just kind of forgetting a few of those words there. I'd love for you to join me. We'll have a link in all of these various locations. That's why I keep looking over here and keep looking over here. So we can do our Zoom and we can do our Instagram. And next week we will have a platform where I only have to look one place. Isn't that awesome? So again, if you have any questions that you want to ask me, just put them in the chat, or better yet, whatever platform you're on, if you're on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, just send me a little note and I will answer that. Or you can certainly email me at rklein@ruthklein.com. Klein is Klein. I'm hoping that this opened up a little bit of the wonderful possibilities that can be yours. Yes, yours, with a book. And there's so many more. And I hope I didn't overwhelm you. But then on the other hand, I hope I overwhelmed you to share with you that it's just a matter of thinking a little bit outside the the box. Do you like that, looking outside the book? I like that. I might have to use that. But until April 21st, or I'll see you next Tuesday on Ruth on Demand. See ya.